Jennifer with JD Designs, and I'm here today with a double gatefold card that I made using the January Spotlight Collection La Vie en Rose, which is a beautiful black and white collection featuring this gorgeous rose floral in our poppy, pomegranate, ruby, hollyhock, and pixie colors. This collection is great. It's a great classic black and white collection that coordinates well not only with the pinks and rose colors and ruby colors in our exclusive color palette, but also with fern, peacock, any of the greens and blues and purples, pretty much any color you can come up with. Black and white with a color is a great, almost monochromatic color scheme. It's very pretty. I will also be using the January stamp of the month, which is Beloved Bouquet. This is a fun two-step stamping set. So you have your background and then your accent stamp, which you can use the accent stamp all by itself, or as you'll see today, you can use the background and then add this on top to give it some great dimension and focus. There's the leaves, and then there's the smaller rose here. Some great sentiments. Thinking of you, you mean so much to me, love you, and then of course Happy Valentine's Day. But it's not an overly Valentine's themed set, so this is a great year-round set with the bonus of Happy Valentine's Day and this hugs, kisses, and Valentine's wishes. But the rest of the set is great for the year-round. So let's go ahead and get started. First up, let me show you the card we will be making today. Like I said, it's a double gatefold card. And it looks a little tricky, a little twisty, but it goes together very easily, as you're about to see. So let's go ahead and get started. First up, you will need a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 inch cardstock. I chose to use black. And I'm going to use my scoreboard. At this time, I don't have the Close to My Heart scoreboard, so I just have my old trusty Martha Stewart scoreboard. The Close to My Heart scoreboard is wonderful, and it's definitely on my list. But what you're going to want to do is score at 2 1/8. And then come in 2 1/8 from the other side. So 6 1/2, and then another 1/8 of an inch. Or if you don't like doing math, you can just go ahead and turn your paper around and do another 2 1/8. So once you have that done, we can put our scoreboard away. And then simply fold in our gate. And you'll want to use a bone folder to crease it. So once you've got it folded towards the center, just go ahead and use your bone folder to help give you that good crease. And then we'll start adding our layers. First up, we are going to add just some white daisy cardstock. It just makes some great, gives a great little added depth once we add the B&T. So you can use whatever adhesive you like. Today I'm using my ATG, which is my go-to adhesive because it sits on my desk so nicely. And so we'll add this panel like that. We'll go ahead and grab this panel. And add this one on as well. Hopefully my big head's not getting in the way here. Then you're going to want to add 2 panels of your black and white B&T. And you could choose whichever pattern you want. I chose this beautiful kind of lattice, interwoven lattice pattern. So go ahead and center those panels on there as well. And I will put all of the dimensions to this card on my blog. it's a little hard to catch them if I just start rattling them off. So we'll go ahead and put them all on my blog, and then you can, and I'll leave a link below, and you can go ahead and head over there and pick them up from there if you're looking for specific dimensions. All right, then once you have that done, we're on to the stamping. So the first thing we're gonna do is grab our fern and pomegranate ink, and we will grab our stamps from this collection. So we'll start by doing this little sentiment block here on the bottom. And to do that, I simply stamped my sentiment on a rectangular piece of white daisy. Then I took a sponge, which I've cut into chunks. If you pictured this being a round sponge, I've actually cut it into 6 wedges, and then I use a different side for each color, and I have a little case I actually keep them all in so that I'm not mixing colors. I'm a little weird like that, but as long as you get a color similar in the palette, you're fine. So then I just went around the edges and kind of distressed them with a little bit of the fern ink. Just gives, again, some more texture and dimension to the card. And there's several ways you can distress your edges. One way is to simply just run it along the ink pad, and that gives a great look. More just a simple look, whereas this will allow some of that ink to come onto the piece to give it a little bit more. You have a little more control with the sponge. You can also simply take your ink pad and go like this if you don't have a sponge. It all depends on the look I want. The sponge also tends to give a little bit softer of a look. So when we're done, I'm going to go ahead and set that aside. And I'm actually going to use just my small tape runner here. And then I will apply that to a piece of the black cardstock. We'll go ahead and set that aside until we're ready to assemble. And then next up, we're going to use the pomegranate ink. And I forgot to grab, I just need to grab a piece of scratch computer paper. I build up when I use my computer paper, if I have a misprint or I only need part of the sheet, I build up my extras to use as scrap here. What I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to tap, tap, wiggle, wiggle, tap, tap. And then I'm going to go ahead and take and stamp this off. I want a second generation image. Oops. Because it did that, I don't want to leave that extra ink on, so what I'll do, re-ink this, tap, tap, wiggle, wiggle, tap, tap. And again, I'm just going to quickly stamp off and get rid of most of the ink. And then I'll come over here on my white daisy cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that down. Give that a second to transfer. And what that does, as you can see, first generation ink is a nice dark color of the pomegranate. I just kind of wanted the softer, more subtle, because then I'm going to come back in with that outline accent image, and I will stamp that on top in full strength. So again, ink that up nicely. And the great thing about our clear photopolymer stamps is that you can see where you're stamping so that you can apply the outline here right to the top. Give that ink a second to transfer over, make sure I've pressed down firmly. Go ahead and lift that up. And you'll see here we have that outline on top. And because I did it in that first generation, you see kind of the depth of the stamp then. Go ahead and get this ink. Actually, I'm just going to set that out of the way because we'll need that again in a minute. And then I just have a basic 2.5 inch punch here. I'm going to go ahead and, 2.25 inch punch. And we're going to go ahead and center that. You could also cut out a 2.25 inch circle on your Cricut using the Art Philosophy cartridge and then simply stamp on that. My little guy is sleeping right now, so I don't want to pull my Cricut out and make a bunch of noise. So we'll go ahead and toss that aside, and then put a little adhesive on the back here, and I've got a pre-punched 2.5 inch circle that I'm going to go ahead and layer this on. Get this out of the way as well. And then we are ready to go ahead and assemble the front of our card. And so what I did, as you can see, this card, one is attached to this side and one piece is attached to this side. So what I did first is I kind of eyeballed adhesive onto the back of approximately half of this piece. Kind of lined it up where I needed it to be. And then went ahead and stuck it down. And because there's only adhesive on the back of half of it, it'll easily open that way. Then for this piece, I went ahead and lined it up, kind of eyeballing where I wanted how I wanted that rose to be, which I kind of like it like this with the leaves kind of off to the side a little bit, the petals, the open petals. And then what I did is it's going to adhere to this side, so I simply grabbed it by this side, hoping you can see this, and I twisted it this way and carefully laid it down so that what I can do then is apply adhesive to the back of this side and then simply close my card and run my hand over it, excuse me, allowing me to have that attached as well. And so now both of your pieces are attached. See, I told you it looks tricky, but it's really not. It's actually pretty easy. Now, with black cardstock, the problem that you have is unless you have a gold or a silver metallic pen, you really can't write very well inside. So what I like to do with my black cardstock cards is I attach a piece of just plain white cardstock, again in the white daisy, to the inside. But of course, that just looks kind of boring, and you've got this gorgeous card on the front, and you don't want to open it up and then have a rather boring inside. So what I did, keeping in our color scheme, is over here, I grabbed my pomegranate, and again, just kind of rub that ink all around the edges, trying not to get too far in because you still want to be able to write your message. And again, just all around the edges like this. Just kind of keep inking up those edges using your sponge. When you're done, just set that aside. And I also grabbed this beautiful leafy, branchy, just little gathering cluster stamp from the set. And I went ahead and inked that up and stamped it over here off to the side. And so now we have an inside that looks a little bit like that. Go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of that. And there we have the finished inside of this beautiful card. And there, that's simply gorgeous. And now who wouldn't love to receive a beautiful card like that? If you're interested in any of the products that I've used today or any of our other fabulous Close to My Heart products, please head over to my online store at jddesigns.ctmh.com to place an order. You may also head over to my blog for full details on this card, as well as a list of all the products I used, and I will include the dimensions of the pieces I used for the double gatefold here. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My contact information is all on my blog, or you can leave me a comment down below here on YouTube. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.